YouTube, it's Mike here. Looking at my aquaponics. I've changed a few things again, and I also wanted to make a few notes on some things that have been really developing, I think, a lot faster than I had anticipated. And so I'm going to try to document that, partially because I went back to one of my other videos where I thought maybe I had some good footage, and I was missing some of the detail that I wish I would have had. So I guess the start with the documentation here. Like, there's this piece down in here, which is the new shoot off of this celery plant. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, like yesterday, earlier in the day, this thing was almost unseeable. It was so small. If we look down on this plant, you can see one stem starting there, and you can tell that it's really small. And that's, I mean, this one was maybe a little larger than that yesterday, but not that much. These other celery plants have a whack of new growth coming in the centers here. This one's even starting, there's a new shoot. Where am I here? Yeah, there's a new shoot. But then inside here, there's another new shoot. So the other thing I've noticed is all this celery, when I looked back on my other video, it was kind of laid over around when I had put this light bar, which I did the whole one video on. But now this stuff is all kind of looking up, as for lack of a better term. I've been doing some more research on the LED light stuff, and really, as far as I can tell, unless I want to make my own bulbs or spend a lot of money on someone else's bulbs setup, then basically I'm left with my cheap idea that seems to be working quite well. The other thing I've done that's new here that I thought I'd show is a few things, actually. These are ever-bearing raspberries. I was trimming them. I think there's a video where my son's showing how he's trimming them up and what have you. A bunch of them died and dried out, and so I made some changes, and basically, I guess we'll come over here. I'll throw you around a minute. These are the dead pieces I pulled out. Now, some of these may have still been a little bit alive in the bottoms here where they were submerged in the water, but what I didn't want was to get a jar of water starting to rot with something that would take out the whole bunch of plants. So I pulled these all out, and the biggest common denominator I noticed was these were trying to produce when I trimmed. And I had trimmed partially to get rid of the production shoots and to trim the height and everything. It's all on the other video. And so these things pretty well just dried up and died. Some of them were pretty instant and catastrophic. But the biggest thing, like I say, that I noticed is these all were trying to make berries at the ends of the stem that we had stuck in. They did all have growing points down here at the nodes, but they definitely weren't quite, like there's a node there. We cut the leaf off of here, and this is the growing point, the node that would make the next shoot. But these ones, for whatever reason, seem to be geared completely for making raspberries. And the ones that seem to do better, when we come back over here, if we take a look, that still have some green and everything's looking a lot more alive, were non-producing. It was a growing point at the very tip. No berries, nothing like that. And then when we come down in here, we can see how green things are at the node there, the growing point just above where we cut the leaves off. Now, I did take a lot of leaves off. Some of these are pretty well naked in here. And I did that again because if there's some rot, I would prefer, actually there's one I missed. I would prefer to have naked looking things with healthy growing points that are not rotting catastrophically and taking out everybody else with them. So the other thing I did was in these jars, I cleaned up the water. I put a bit of gravel. I put an air stone in. And this one in particular, this jar has a couple of adult guppies. And the female should be giving birth, I think, here. I actually thought she might have given birth shortly after I put her in there, but I don't see any babies yet. And then here's my other one. Again, raspberry. Now that leaf there I'll probably take off. There's a few in there. But you can see there is some good healthy looking growing points. And there's really no raspberry producing shoots there. And you can see in this jar here, again, a bit of gravel, air stone. You're kind of seeing the largest baby in there, but there's a whole bunch of babies that the guppies had that same female had given birth to a little bit ago. So I got them separated out, and this gives them some area to hide. There's some snails that I use in my fish tanks and whatever to keep things cleaned up a bit. The guppies will eat off a lot of the rot. The snails will eat off some of the rot. Kind of the same thing down here with these mollies. They're kind of always, you can see them back in there if you can get the glare off. Shoot. Give me a shot of a, now they have all come out, they think I'm going to feed them. There's one up in there. You can see they go in there and they kind of suck any of the slime off the roots and what have you. And then again, up in here we have some snails cleaning off the roots. So I mean, these guys kind of, it's a great symbiotic type relationship. I mean, everybody's looking after the other parts of the system. My fresh rooted tomato here is not rooted yet. It's looking pretty sad right now. I think I'm going to end up removing like this leaf here, for instance, and maybe this other leaf, and hoping it stands back up. It looks like it's going to come around, but it's taking its sweet time. I don't have it overly deep. I'm going to see if I can show you here. It's just in the water, and I would prefer to have it a little deeper, and maybe I should have stuck it in a jar or something, and I don't know if I can get a shot here. Nah, too much glare on this glass. Anyway, you can see it starting to develop the little root lumps where the roots are going to come out, and I think it's going to be all right. It's just a matter of like keeping it holding on till it's all right. So hopefully it's going to be okay. I know a lot of times too, when even when I've rooted in jars and different things, rooting suckers off, they if there's too much leaf and there's not enough root surface area yet, it does tend to kind of pull the whole plant down. But if you look at these growing points here, and there's one up here, and there's another one up here. So there's 3 or 4 good growing points, and they seem healthy. So in my way of thinking, that's what counts. And the growing points that are looking the healthiest are all shooting straight up and trying to stare at the lights. I wanted to show this too. I just grabbed these out of the garden. There's some ever-bearing strawberries I had stuck out in my garden this year. I think they're in some videos, which sounds about normal. I brought these in. I thought, what the heck, put them here to get them the light. And then what I did was, they've got these stems that come off, and so I've actually stuck them down so they can sit towards the fish tank and hopefully root off. These are some more of them. They're pretty sad looking, but hopefully they're going to take off. They have, which of course I'm going to get some glare again, they have new roots trying to grow. The fish have been working hard to keep things cleaned up, but the tops look pretty trashy. So hopefully they come along, and I think they're going to be okay. It's just a matter of getting kind of going again. So that's the other little quick thing I wanted to show you. I've been working on. I've seen these a few places, and we've just started. We collected some bottles. We don't have a lot of 2-liter bottles around here and stuff. This is going to be a growing system. One bottle goes above, I don't know if you can even see that. One bottle goes above the other bottle. I'm going to go and tie a string to the point in the very center of the shot there. There's actually a circle up into that one there. And I figured I'll put about 3 lettuce plants in each of these bottles. I've got a couple more here marked out already to cut out. And I've been doing this with my son. And then I have these little mesh cups. I got them from the fish store. It's what they sell their plants in for the fish tank. And so I'm going to sit these in sort of like so, just to keep things from falling out so easily as I make a mess. And yeah, so that's it. Hopefully that makes sense, and I'll keep you updated as things go along, and I hope that you're finding it interesting, because I'm going to keep taking notes either way. Thanks, we'll talk to you. Ciao.